My name is Orleth Sorrell, and for most of my life, I believed that if you gave people the benefit of the doubt, they would rise to meet it. Savannah, Georgia. In springtime is the kind of place that makes you believe in soft endings and new beginnings, magnolia blooms, warm breezes drifting through the Spanish moss, pastel weddings on every corner. It felt like the perfect backdrop for mine. I was 27, newly engaged, and planning what I thought would be the happiest season of my life. And standing beside me, at least I thought she was my maid of honor and childhood best friend, Rhea Linton. Rhea and I had grown up like sisters. She was the kind of person who knew how to make an entrance. Bronze skin, perfect eyeliner wings, always a little too overdressed for the occasion. People called her the sunbeam, but honestly, she was more like a spotlight, warm when aimed at you, harsh when pointed away. But I trusted her. God, I trusted her so much. We created a shared wedding budget, a simple joint account we both had access to so she could help with deposits and payments. She insisted on it, actually. "It'll make things smoother, she told me while sipping iced lavender lemonade on my porch. "You're juggling work, planning, a fiancé. Let me handle the boring stuff." And I believed her. I was stupid enough to believe her. For weeks, she kept telling me things were handled. The florist, done. The catering deposit, paid. The dress fitting schedule, booked. Whenever I asked for specifics, she'd wave me off with a breezy, "Relax, you're engaged, not filing taxes." Looking back, that should have been a red flag the size of Forsyth Park. The first crack in the illusion happened on a warm Thursday afternoon. I received an email from Blossom and Vine, the florist I had been dreaming about since high school. The subject line chilled me immediately. "Final notice, unpaid deposit." My stomach knotted. I read it 3 times. That couldn't be right. Rhea swore she paid the deposit. Maybe there was a system error. Maybe they confused my date. Maybe Rhea forgot to mention she paid by phone. I called her immediately. She answered on the 3rd ring, her voice breathless, like she'd just stepped out of a boutique. "Orleth, hey, what's up?" "Blossom and Vine just emailed me," I said. "They say the deposit hasn't been paid." Silence. A long, awkward silence. Finally, she said, "What? That's weird. I thought I handled it. Must have been a processing thing. I'll double check." Her tone was too light, too airy, like a feather trying to float above a lie. "Can you send me the receipt?" I pressed. "Just so I can call them back." More silence, then a laugh, forced, high-pitched. "Oh my God. Or you're being so type A right now. Just relax, it's probably fixed already." But something in me snapped awake. A quiet, unfamiliar instinct whispered, "She's lying." I didn't want to believe it, but my hands were already trembling as I opened our shared banking app. And that was the moment everything inside me tilted sideways. The balance was nearly empty. The account that should have held thousands of dollars, months of careful saving, had dwindled to a few hundred. Transaction after transaction scrolled down the screen. High-end boutiques, designer heels, makeup stores, luxury spa appointments. My throat tightened as I whispered the words out loud. "Oh my God, she spent it! She spent everything!" My ears rang. My heart pounded. The room around me blurred like watercolors running in the rain. I called her again, and again, and again. No answer. Finally, she texted, "Busy. Can we talk later? I'm stressed." Stressed? Stressed? I felt heat climbing up my neck as betrayal settled into my bones like something cold and permanent. I typed back, "Rhea, we need to talk now. What is going on with the account?" 3 dots appeared, then vanished, then appeared again. Her reply hit like a slap. "Orleth, I had to take care of myself for once, okay? I've been dealing with so much wedding stress for you. You have no idea what that does to a person." I stared at the screen, numb. "Wedding stress." Wedding stress? She drained our budget because she needed retail therapy? I sank onto the couch, my legs shaking. My voice cracked as I whispered, "She used me." 1,000 memories flashed like broken glass. Our childhood sleepovers, whispered dreams, promises that we'd stand by each other on our wedding days. And now this. My fiancé, Rowan, walked in a few minutes later and froze when he saw my face. He asked softly, "What happened?" I held out my phone, my hand trembling. "She stole our budget. All of it." His jaw clenched, but he wrapped his arms around me, grounding me. I didn't cry, not yet. I just felt hollow, like someone had reached inside me and scraped out everything warm. "Why would she do this?" I whispered. Rowan sighed, because she could. And that was the part that hurt the most. Not the money, not the deposits, not even the betrayal. It was the realization that someone I loved, someone I trusted blindly, saw no problem taking advantage of me during one of the most vulnerable times of my life. I pulled away from Rowan slowly, my breath shaking. My chest felt tight, but beneath the hurt, something else stirred. A spark, a flicker, a quiet, rising strength. No more excuses, no more letting her dance around the truth. If she wanted to play games with my wedding, she had no idea who she was up against now. I opened my laptop. I opened the bank statements. And then I opened a new file titled Rhea Linton, Evidence. My heart thudded as I whispered to myself, "This ends now." But I didn't know yet. What I was about to uncover next would make everything infinitely worse. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake in the dim glow of my laptop screen, scrolling through every charge Rhea had made. One after another, like a trail of glittering little betrayals. Designer sandals from a boutique on Broughton Street, a $600 facial at a luxury spa, a handbag that cost more than my entire catering deposit. Every purchase screamed one thing. She never cared about my wedding. She cared about the lifestyle she could steal from it. At 3:07 a.m., I finally pushed away from the screen, rubbing my eyes. My throat felt raw, like I'd spent hours screaming, even though I hadn't said a word. Rowan had fallen asleep on the couch nearby, still in his work clothes, waiting for me. I whispered to myself, I need answers, and I need them tomorrow. Morning came too soon. Savannah looked almost surreal in the soft sunrise, the kind of beauty that felt cruelly at odds with the chaos in my chest. I brewed coffee, though the taste barely registered. My mind was already in battle mode. I started with the receipts. I made a spreadsheet. I cross-referenced dates, stores, and amounts. Every row confirmed the same horrific truth. Rhea had drained the budget with absolute confidence that I would never check. Why? Why did she think she could get away with this? At 9:01 a.m., I got a text from her. Rhea, can we not make yesterday a big deal? I already said I'll pay some of it back eventually. I'm overwhelmed. I stared at the message, my pulse quickening. Eventually, some of it? I typed back. We're meeting today, noon, my place. She left me on red. Good, let her squirm. Noon came, but Rhea didn't. I waited on the porch, arms crossed, the spring air thick with humidity. At 12:17 p.m., her text popped up. Running late, girl, I need a mocha. Be there soon. A mocha. She stole thousands of dollars from me and needed a mocha before explaining herself. My jaw clenched so hard it ached. Rowan stepped outside and asked, Do you want me here when she comes? I shook my head. No, this is between me and her, but don't go too far. He nodded, kissed my forehead, and walked to the cafe down the street. At 12:42, Rhea finally showed up, wearing a brand new floral romper I recognized from the payment history. Her sunglasses sparkled. Her smile was bright. She looked like a woman without a single ounce of guilt. Hey, she drawled, giving me a one-armed hug like she was the victim in all this. Sorry I'm late. Stress shopping is a beast, girl. Stress shopping. I almost laughed, almost. Instead, I stepped back and said, We're not going inside. We'll talk out here. She blinked. What? Why? Because this conversation is going to be short, I said. And I don't want you near anything else you might feel stressed enough to steal. Her smile faltered. I opened my folder, the printed bank statements, highlighted in neon yellow. Explain this, Rhea. She barely glanced at the papers before shrugging dramatically. It's just stuff, Orleth. I told you I was going through a lot. I'll pay back some of it once I get my tax refund. Some? I repeated, my voice shaking. Rhea let out a long, impatient sigh. Oh my God, are you really going to act like this? I've been doing so much for your wedding. I handled every vendor call, every appointment, and I didn't charge you for gas or time or emotional labor. I stared at her. You stole nearly $8,000, Rhea. She rolled her eyes. A bride is supposed to be grateful, you know. You're being controlling." That was the moment something in me finally snapped. "Controlling?" I whispered. "I trusted you with my best friend role. I trusted you with my wedding, and you treated my savings like your personal shopping spree." Ria's expression hardened, lips tightening. "Well, maybe if you didn't act so superior all the time, this wouldn't have happened." I froze. Superior? That wasn't guilt speaking. That was resentment. Long, simmering resentment she had buried under smiles and compliments for years. In that moment, I realized this wasn't an accident. It wasn't stress. It wasn't a mistake. It was intentional. "You planned this," I said quietly. Ria's jaw tensed. She didn't deny it. I took a breath, slow, steady, and said, "I'm removing you as my maid of honor." Her sunglasses slid down the bridge of her nose as her eyes widened. "You're kidding!" "No," I said, "you're done." Ria laughed, a sharp, disbelieving sound. "You can't have a wedding without me. You need me." I lifted the folder. "I have the bank statements. I can show Rowan. I can show your family. I can show every boutique where you used my money. Do you really want me to?" For the first time, Ria looked afraid. She folded her arms, voice trembling with anger. "You're blowing this out of proportion. You wouldn't dare expose me." "Try me," I said. We stood there in silence, spring wind rustling the trees around us. Her facade finally cracked. Then she muttered, "Fine. Whatever. Good luck finding someone else willing to deal with your wedding." She turned and stalked off, heels clacking down the sidewalk. I watched her go. My heart pounded, my hands shook. But for the first time since discovering the truth, I felt something close to power. Still, something gnawed at me. A whisper of doubt, a bad feeling. And it only grew stronger when my neighbor, Mrs. Alden, walked up and cleared her throat. I couldn't help overhearing," she said softly. "And honey, I think you need to see something. It's about Ria." My stomach dropped. "What kind of something?" Mrs. Alden hesitated, then pulled her phone from her purse. "I didn't want to assume. But I think she's been using more than just your wedding budget." My pulse spiked. "What do you mean?" I asked. But she didn't answer. She just pressed play. And when the video began, my entire world tilted again. The video on Mrs. Alden's phone began with a shaky camera angle, like whoever recorded it was trying to be discreet. It showed Ria standing inside Magnolia Bridal Boutique, the most expensive wedding shop in downtown Savannah. At first, I thought it was just footage of her shopping, something irritating but not earth-shattering. Then the audio kicked in. Ria's voice, clear as day, floated through the speakers. "Yeah, just charge it to Orleth Sorrell's account. She authorized it. It's for her fittings." My entire body went numb. Mrs. Alden looked at me with sympathy, her lips pressed tight. "I didn't want to assume the worst," she said softly. "But she's been doing this all over town, using your name, your budget, acting like she's the bride." The bride. The word stabbed me in the chest. In the video, Ria laughed as the cashier handed her multiple garment bags, each one probably worth hundreds of dollars. My throat tightened. I whispered, "She pretended to be me?" Mrs. Alden nodded. "I overheard her once bragging about being the real star of your wedding. I think she's been taking advantage of your vendors for weeks." I couldn't breathe for a moment. It was like betrayal had layers, each one worse than the last. First, she stole my budget. Now she was stealing my identity. "She used my name," I whispered. "She used my wedding as an excuse to steal." Mrs. Alden put a gentle hand on my arm. "Sweetheart, you've been far too generous with that girl." I swallowed hard. Generous. No. Blind. "I need that video," I said, my voice steadying. "And I need to talk to every vendor she's contacted." Mrs. Alden nodded immediately and airdropped the file to me. The moment it landed in my phone, something inside me shifted. Not anger, not sadness. Precision. The kind of focus that comes right before a storm. I walked back into my house, and Rowan looked up from the couch, sensing the shift in energy. "What happened?" he asked. I handed him the phone. "Watch." He watched silently, jaw tightening with every passing second. When the video ended, he let out a slow, controlled breath. That kind of breath men take right before flipping a table. "She impersonated you," he said flatly. "She committed fraud." I nodded. Orleth, this isn't just betrayal. This is criminal. His words made the walls tilt a little, but I steadied myself. I'm not going to the police yet. First, I want to understand the full extent. He set a hand on my shoulder. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. That small sentence, so steady, so simple, felt like a safety net around my unraveling world. I opened my laptop again, this time with laser focus. Vendor list, phone numbers, dates, receipts. I began calling. Call number 1, Magnolia Bridal Boutique. Hi, this is Orleth Sorrell, I said carefully. The woman on the line inhaled sharply. Oh, Ms. Sorrell. We were actually going to reach out. We still have a remaining balance for your items. My items? I asked. What items? There was a pause. Your maid of honor said you approved 4 gowns for your pre-wedding events. She also chose a custom beaded veil. My stomach churned. I never approved any of that, I said, and I never received those dresses. The woman cursed under her breath. Oh my God, I am so sorry. We trusted the authorization she showed us. My pulse spiked. Authorization? What authorization? Another pause. She showed us a printed document. It had your name and signature. I froze. She forged my signature? The woman hesitated. Ms. Sorrell, I'm afraid so. I thanked her and hung up. My hands were trembling, but I wasn't sure if it was rage or adrenaline. Call number 2, catering company. They told me Rhea canceled the original tasting appointment and rescheduled it for herself and a friend. A friend. Probably whoever filmed her pretending to be me. Call number 3, event decor specialist. She said you wanted everything upgraded to premium gold plating, the specialist said. I squeezed my eyes shut. No, I never approved that. Then you might want to sit down, the woman said gently. She put down your name for 2 more events, a rehearsal brunch and a pre-wedding photo shoot party. I sank into my chair. That's thousands of dollars. I'm afraid she already used part of the decor budget, the woman added. We assumed it was what you requested. Requested, no, stolen. Everything was stolen. Rowan knelt beside me, rubbing soothing circles on my back. His voice was calm but firm. She didn't just cross a line, she burned the whole thing down. I stared at the list of charges, each one a small betrayal that added up to something monstrous. And then an idea flickered in my chest. She wanted to be the center of my wedding, I murmured. She wanted attention, praise, control. Rowan nodded slowly. Yeah, so what are you thinking? I looked up at him, a new fire forming behind my eyes. I think it's time she gets attention, I said softly, but not the kind she wanted. Rowan raised an eyebrow. You're planning something. I gave a tiny, sharp smile. Oh, I'm planning everything. But before I could fully map out my revenge, my phone buzzed with a notification. A message from Blossom and Vine, the florist. Urgent. We need to confirm if you truly want to cancel all floral arrangements. Rhea requested full cancellation. My blood ran cold. Cancel? She tried to cancel my wedding flowers? Why? What was she trying to do now? I dialed the florist instantly. A woman answered, sounding flustered. Oh, thank goodness, Ms. Sorrell. We weren't sure if the cancellation request was legitimate. It wasn't, I said. What exactly did she say? She claimed your fiancé left you, the florist explained. She said the wedding was off and you wanted everything canceled immediately. I felt the room sway. She wasn't just stealing, she wasn't just impersonating. She was trying to destroy my wedding entirely. Rowan steadied me as I gripped the edge of the table. Why would she? What did she gain from this? Why did she want to sabotage me so completely? The florist continued. She sounded emotional. She said she was protecting you because you were too heartbroken to talk. I laughed, broken, breathless, disbelieving. Protecting me. Rhea was rewriting my entire life behind my back. And suddenly I knew. I wasn't dealing with a jealous friend. I was dealing with someone who wanted to replace me. My voice dropped to a whisper as the truth settled cold into my bones. She wants to take my place. Rowan's eyes darkened. Then we expose her. I nodded slowly. Yes, but first, we need to find out how far she's already gone. My phone buzzed again. This time, the message wasn't from a vendor. It was from Rhea. I think we need to talk before things get complicated. My stomach twisted because the timing was too perfect, too calculated. She knew something. But what? I didn't waste time. "What is Holiday Consulting Services?" I asked, voice steady but trembling beneath the surface. He blinked, once, twice, then forced a casual smile. "Oh, that! It's just a side project, totally harmless." "A side project using my money?" His jaw tightened again. "Marin, you're blowing this out of proportion." "No," I said, "you're stealing." He inhaled sharply through his nose. "I'm not stealing, I'm reallocating." I stared at him. "Reallocating?" I nearly laughed. "You mean taking, without permission, without even telling me." He rolled his eyes. "When we get married, our finances will be shared anyway. It doesn't matter which account it comes from." "Oh, it matters," I said, voice low. "It matters that you lied. It matters that you canceled our wedding vendors behind my back. It matters that you told them I never paid when you stole every deposit." He scoffed. "You're being dramatic." My hands curled into fists. "No, Beck, I'm being factual." I pulled out the folder I'd brought, the printed statements, the transfers, the timestamps. I threw them onto the counter between us. He barely glanced at them. "Look, Marin, I was going to tell you—" "When?" I snapped. "After you drained the rest of my savings? After you opened 3 more fake companies? Or after you ran off with a suitcase like the one sitting by your door?" He stiffened. For the first time, fear, real, raw fear, flashed across his eyes. "Marin, it's not what it looks like." "So tell me," I said. "What is it? Explain it. I want to hear you say the lie out loud." He swallowed hard. His gaze darted to the suitcase, then back at me. "I'm behind on some payments," he admitted. "I've been trying to get this business off the ground, and I needed startup funds. You know how complicated the wedding finances have been." "Stop!" I said sharply. "This has nothing to do with the wedding. This is fraud." He flinched at the word. "You're being ridiculous. Couples share money all the time. This isn't—" "We're not married yet." "So what?" he argued. "So you stole," I whispered. Silence. Thick, suffocating silence. Then something inside him snapped. He stepped toward me, expression shifting from defensive to condescending. "You know what your problem is, Marin? You don't understand how business works. You're so focused on feelings and fairness that you can't see long-term strategy." I stared at him, speechless. "My problem," I repeated slowly, "is that I trusted you." He exhaled, annoyed. "I was doing this for us, for our future." "No," I said. "You were doing this for you? You were using me, and you were preparing to leave." His jaw clenched, but he said nothing. I let the silence hang a beat before I took a step forward. "Beck, were you ever planning to marry me?" He didn't answer. "Not immediately." And sometimes silence is the loudest confession of all. He finally looked away. I felt my throat close, grief punching me like a fist. "But then," he muttered, "it wasn't supposed to go this far." My breath hitched. "So it's true," I whispered. "You were going to disappear." He didn't deny it. He didn't even pretend to. Instead, he ran a hand over his face. "I just needed to stabilize things first. With my money you're not even using." "My wedding money," I corrected. "Our wedding," he snapped. "There is no wedding," I said softly. His eyes shot up. I expected sadness, regret, panic. Instead, he looked angry. "What, so you're leaving? Just like that? After everything we've built?" I almost laughed. "We didn't build anything," I said quietly. "I built a future. You built a lie." He stepped forward, face hardening. "You don't get to ruin me over this," he hissed. "You don't get to tank my business just because you're upset." "Oh, I'm not upset," I said, surprising even myself with how steady my voice sounded. "I'm done." And that was when his mask cracked. He grabbed the folder off the counter and ripped the papers in half, fury boiling over. "These don't mean anything," he shouted. "You can't prove—" "Oh, Beck," I said softly, almost pitying him. "I have digital backups." His face drained of color. I stepped back toward the door. "This conversation is over," I said. "Don't call me, don't text me, and don't try to touch my accounts again." "You think you can walk out?" he snapped. "I know I can." I reached for the doorknob, but right as I turned it, Beck said something that froze me. "You're not the only one I took deposits from." I whipped around. He smirked. "There are others, couples, clients, friends. You think you're special?" My skin went cold. "You're running a scam," I whispered. "Call it entrepreneurship," he said with a shrug. My stomach twisted. This wasn't just betrayal. This was predatory, calculated, dangerous. And suddenly, I wasn't just a victim. I was a witness, which meant Beck had something to lose and something to fear. I stepped backward, keeping my eyes on him until I slipped out the door and let it close between us. My heart pounded as I hurried to my car, because now I knew the truth. This wasn't just about me. This was bigger, much bigger. And exposing him wasn't just revenge anymore. It was necessary. But as I started the engine, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. One sentence, one warning. Be careful who you trust next, Marin. He's not done. My blood ran cold. Someone else knew. Someone else was watching.